Because why? It's a mortgage bond. They don't want that.
They're afraid
It's liquidity and safety. So they're worried what happens if these mortgage bonds become illiquid. People just won't buy them in the future. And they don't care that the yield is 5.5%, 6%. They'll park their billions of dollars in no yield short-term treasuries because it's liquid and it's safe. So in these markets that are chaotic, oh gosh, he's videotaping me. In these markets that are chaotic, we're not having the normal flights to quality. Stock market sells off, the bond market rallies, in the mortgage section, it's selling off too. So that's why rates are going up, because investors are not wanting to hold mortgage bonds, even though they're paying a very nice yield. Liquidity and safety.
That might take a little while for the perception to change. Where did you say they're investing at?
Short-term treasuries at times are paying no yield. They're getting nothing for their money, but they're parking it because there's nothing more liquid than the U.S. Treasury Department, and there's nothing right now safer. So when you have these chaotic times in the markets, and for an example, you can measure the market's nervousness by an index called the VIX. You've probably heard of that on the TV. The VIX is a volatility index. It reached over, 70 or 80, and don't quote me to it, it's either A, never has ever been that high, or it hasn't been that high in decades. And a lot of traders that are really in the markets have always said, it's kind of a rule of thumb, anytime the VIX gets over 50, buy the market, because the market's going to come back. It's just a matter of time. People are now saying, hold on, this time might be different. I know people say that always in bad markets, this time's different. But a lot of traders are saying this time is different. They are majorly concerned. Banks aren't lending to each other. They're holding their reserves because they're afraid that if I'm Bank A and you're Bank B, I'm afraid you might not pay me back, so I'm just going to hold on to my cash. And that's why we're not having a normal cycle. They're just putting money in short-term treasuries because it's all about preservation of capital. And it shows the proof the Fed does not control long-term rates. They control short-term rates. They cut rates a half, our rates went up. The reason why our rates jumped so high, what was it, a month ago? No, I mean, the way the bond jumped so high, the rates went down, is because when the Feds put the backstop in with Fannie and Freddie and said they're going to go ahead and take them over, that was a short-term, wow, this is awesome. I have a mortgage bond now as the Fed's get it back, so it was a short-term love affair, and then traders got nervous as the markets continued to sell and said, you know what, I'm not going to mess with it, I'm just going to put it in treasuries because this is too crazy. So
and you've got a lot of tie-in people, like what, Dr.